Sardinia, Table of Contents.
Sardinia. Dr. Sidney Soclof. Dr. Sidney at earthlink.net. 2021.
Narration by Dr. Sidney Soclof.
Zoe Phonemes.
And Nathan Koltov. Sardinia, in Italian Sardinia, is an island in the Mediterranean Sea. It is 120 miles, 200 kilometers, west of the mainland of Italy.
Sardinia is only 7.5 miles, 12 kilometers, south of French island of Corsica, being separated from it by the Strait of Bonifacio. It is 120 miles, 200 kilometers, north of Tunisia on the coast of Africa.
Sardinia is the second largest island in the Mediterranean after Sicily.
Sardinia is 270 kilometers, 170 mi, long,
and 120 kilometers, 75 mi, wide.
The surface of Sardinia is generally mountainous, the highest point being 1,834 meters, 6,017 feet, in the Monte del Gennargentu.
The best farmland is in the Campidano, a plain in the southern part of the island. Livestock raising and farming are the chief occupations, with grain, olives, grapes, and tobacco being grown.
Other important industries on Sardinia include fishing and the mining of lead, zinc, copper, and salt. Major cities include Cagliari, Nuoro, and Sassari.
The area of Sardinia is 24,100 square kilometers, 9,300 square mi, with a population of 1.6 million.
The Carthaginians founded trading stations in Sardinia. Rome seized it in 238 BC, after the fall of the Roman Empire. Sardinia was overrun by the Vandals, and then it passed to the Byzantines in the 6th century AD.
From the 8th to the 11th century, Sardinia was repeatedly harassed by the Saracens. From the 11th to the 14th century, the Pisans and Genoese fought each other for possession of the island. In the 14th century, the Pope, who claimed the overlordship, gave Sardinia to James II, King of Aragon.
The Aragonese and their sovereign successors, the Spanish, ruled Sardinia until the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713, which gave it to Austria in 1720. It came under the rule of the House of Savoy. United with Savoy, Piedmont, and Nice, Sardinia became the Kingdom of Sardinia.
This is a map of the Kingdom of Sardinia in 1839.
In 1861, Sardinia became part of the Kingdom of Italy.
A people of unknown origin, the Sards, and their similarly mysterious language, have inevitably felt the influence of their successive occupiers. The strongest foreign associations are Spanish. Contacts with the Iberian Peninsula dating from as early as the 2nd millennium BC. Sardinian, Genoese, Tuscan, Catalan, and Arabic are spoken in various regions, but Italian is the common language.
Loyalty and hospitality to strangers characterize the Sardinian code of honor. Folklore and craft work abound on the island. Each town and village holds an annual festival. Most involve feats of horsemanship, exquisitely embroidered costumes, singing, and dancing, often to the accompaniment of a lornettas, a triple clarinet.
Sardines were named after the Mediterranean island of Sardinia, where they were once in abundance.
Agriculture and mining are the main branches of the economy. Natural pastures cover more than half the area of Sardinia. Sheep and goats are widely raised.
wheat, barley, grapes, olives, cork, and tobacco are produced. Fishing for tuna, lobster, and sardines is important.
Sardinia is rich in minerals, including zinc and lead, 4/5 of Italy's production, lignite, fluorite, bauxite, copper, and iron. Processing industries include the smelting of lead and zinc and the production of aluminum and alumina. There are petroleum refineries and petrochemical complexes. Among other industries are food processing, textile and leather production, woodworking, and electrical engineering.
Tourism is essentially concentrated on the coast, though the road network has been extended and much improved. The island is connected with continental Italy by both air and sea, but the isolation of the island has preserved many traditions.
Cagliari, in Sardinian, Castello, is the capital of the island of Sardinia. Cagliari's Sardinian name Castello literally means the castle.
Cagliari is on the south coast of Sardinia, at the northern extremity of the Gulf of Cagliari.
This is a view of Cagliari.
Cagliari has about 160,000 inhabitants, and about 500,000 including the suburbs.
This is the city seal of Cagliari.
This is the Cagliari harbor.
This is another view of Cagliari.
This is another view of Cagliari.
This is view of the Cagliari harbor.
This is a map of Cagliari.
This is a map of the center of Cagliari.
This is Cagliari.
This is Cagliari.
This is another map of the center of Cagliari.
The old part of the city, called Castello, the castle, lies on top of a hill, with a wonderful view of the Gulf of Cagliari, also known as Angel's Gulf.
Most of its city walls of Cagliari are intact, and feature the two 13th century white limestone towers, St. Pancras Tower and the Elephant Tower. The local white limestone was also used to build the walls of the city and many buildings.
D.H. Lawrence, in his lively memoir of a voyage to sea in Sardinia, undertaken in January 1921, described the effect of the warm Mediterranean sunlight on the white limestone city, and compared Cagliari to a white Jerusalem.
The massive Torre dell'Elephant, 1307, is a fine building in medieval Sardinian style.
This is the Torre dell'Elephant, or Tower of the Elephant.
This is the St. Pancras Tower.
Considerable other remains of the ancient city are still visible at Cagliari, the most striking of which are those of the Roman amphitheater, carved into a block of rock, the typical limestone on which Cagliari is built.
The amphitheater still stages open-air operas and concerts during the summer. There exist also ancient cisterns of vast extent, the ruins of a small circular temple, and numerous sepulchres on a hill outside the modern town.
The Cagliari Cathedral was restored in the 1930s, turning the former Baroque facade into a medieval Pisan-style facade, more akin to the original appearance of the church. The bell tower is original.
The interior of the Cagliari Cathedral has a nave and two aisles, with a pulpit, 1159 to 1162, sculpted for the Cathedral of Pisa but later donated to Cagliari. The crypt houses the remains of martyrs found in the Basilica of San Sardinaretta.
Basilica di Benaria, or the Basilica of Our Lady of Benaria, is a Roman Catholic shrine to the Blessed Virgin Mary located in Cagliari. The basilica is part of a complex of buildings which make up the Shrine of Our Lady of Benaria.
A flight of marble steps, the Passagita Caperta, climbs to the Bastion or San Remi, a magnificent terrace with fine views, laid out on the medieval bastions, which are preserved in part. Higher up, to the north, is the Bastion or Santa Caterina, which also commands extensive views.
This is the Cagliari City Hall.
This is the Via Roma in Cagliari.
This is another view of the Via Roma in Cagliari.
This is the port area of Cagliari.
This is another view of Cagliari.
This is another view of Cagliari.
This is another view of Cagliari.
Cagliari is the main commercial and industrial center of the island, with many major Italian factories within its provincial boundaries. The great communications provider Tisqui has its headquarters in Cagliari.
Cagliari has one of the biggest container terminals of the Mediterranean.
Cagliari has one of the largest fish markets in all of Italy, with a vast array of fish for sale to both the public and trade.
Tourism is also one of the main economical intakes of the city.
There is a fast ferry service between Sardinia and nearby Corsica.
Eleonora or Eleanor of Arborea, in Sardinian, Eleonora de Arbori, and in Italian, Eleonora di Arborea, 1347–1404, was one of the most powerful and important of the judges of Sardinia, and was Sardinia's most famous heroine.
Every year on the 1st of May, the streets of Cagliari come alive with the largest and most colorful religious procession in the world. It is the festival of San Officio, and it has taken place here every year since 1656.
Officio was a Roman officer sent to Sardinia by the Emperor Diocletian to suppress Christianity on the island. However, during his time there, Officio had an epiphany and, rather than carrying out his orders, became a follower himself. When asked to renounce his new religion, he refused and was sentenced to death.
A church was dedicated to him in Cagliari on the site where he was imprisoned, and another at the place of his martyrdom in 1652. Sardinia was afflicted by a plague that killed half of the inhabitants of Cagliari.
The population turned to their saint, Officio di Elia, to save them. The authorities, in recognition of the tide of popular feeling, made an announcement that if the plague was halted by Saint Officio, then the people would carry his statue in a procession from the church in Cagliari to the one in Nora, every year, forever.
Climate.
Will it be hot, or will it be cold in Cagliari?
Here are the average high and low temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year in Cagliari.
Here are the average high and low temperatures in degrees Celsius throughout the year in Cagliari.
Rainfall in Cagliari.
Here is the average rainfall in inches throughout the year in Cagliari. The total yearly rainfall is 16.8 inches, or 426 millimeters.
Here is the average rainfall in millimeters throughout the year in Cagliari.
Here is the average number of days per month, with precipitation, throughout the year in Cagliari.
Sardinia, Table of Contents.